What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Today we're going to make a foldable to learn about two different parts to add to our plot structure and plot elements. And that is foreshadowing and flashbacks. All right, so take your paper, fold the two sides so they meet in the middle like this. Fold them down. You'll have foreshadowing and you'll have flashbacks on this side. We're going to define each one, what they are, underneath each flap. And then in the middle, we're going to use a common fairy tale to discuss each one. All right, so let's go over here. Let's go to this other board here. And we're going to start with foreshadowing. We're going to start with foreshadowing. So let's look at what foreshadowing is. All right, so foreshadowing, it is defined as, that is, when an author hints or mentions that something will happen later in the story. All right, so the author mentions, hints, gives clues that something is going to happen later on in the story, something that you're not immediately seeing. And so you get this by breaking the word down. All right, so you break the word down. You take the word and you break it down. Fore means ahead, and shadow is a glimpse. So again, that gives you kind of insight, a glimpse ahead that something is going to happen. So the author is giving clues, laying tracks for you to eventually get to some big, maybe it's a surprise, maybe it's an alternate ending, something that you just don't see coming initially until it happens, right? So that is foreshadowing. We're going to go to the other flap now, and we're going to talk about flashbacks. And you're going to see that these two at times work together. And so a flashback is when an author makes a reference or refers back to something that already happened. All right, the author makes some sort of reference back to an event, a quote, something that already happened that is key, that the reader needs to pay attention to. What was going on? How does it contribute to where we are in the story now? Anytime you see these flashbacks, it is important to go back to that event because the author wants you to know that that event is important to this portion of the story that you're now into. And so just like we did with foreshadowing, we can break the word down to help us understand its meaning, okay? So you take flashback, first part being flash. Flash is a quick look. And then back being already happened. So however you want to remember it, either by the definition or by breaking the word down, it still kind of means the same thing. A flashback is a quick look at something that already happened. And so we're going to use a classic fairy tale. This is what's going to go in the middle. In the middle, we're going to use a classic fairy tale that has examples of both in the middle of your folder, right? Take Little Red Riding Hood. All right, Little Red Riding Hood, that's what's in the middle, right? And I'm going to give you two quotes from the fairy tale Little Red Riding Hood that give you examples of foreshadowing and of flashbacks. The first one, Grandma is talking to Little Red Riding, or not Grandma, Mom is talking to Little Red Riding Hood, and she says, "Don't stop along the way. Don't stop along the way. Go straight to your grandmother's house. So don't stop along the way. Go straight to Granny's house. Don't talk to strangers. All right, and then the story continues on. All right, so at the time that you're reading Little Red Riding Hood, you don't know that this is a clue that something's going to happen. But as you continue to read Little Red Riding Hood and you see that she comes in contact with the wolf, who is a stranger to her at the time, and it foreshadows that something is about to happen between this stranger that she was not supposed to talk to and Little Red Riding Hood. So don't stop along the way. Go straight to Grandma's house. Don't talk to strangers. That is foreshadowing something that is to come later on in the text or in the story. Now we're going to go to the other side, a flashback. At the end of the story, the author discusses how Little Red Riding Hood Little Red Riding Hood thought back to what her mother said. And obviously it's referring back to this quote up here. And that is a flashback because the author wants you to go back to what Little Red Riding Hood's mother said and how that could have not only been foreshadowing of what was to come, but also had she listened, could have avoided that conflict between Little Red Riding Hood and the Big Bad Wolf. So we're going to continue to work on these two things. We're going to continue to work on foreshadowing and flashbacks. But this was meant to give you an easy example from the same story of how an author can use both, as well as give you the definitions or breakdowns of the two words. You have an assignment to work on. If you have any questions or you're still struggling with the concepts, be sure to reach out to me and let me know. And as always, have a great day.